at Anglers Marine in Anaheim. I'm here with 2023 champion Kyle Grover. And first of all, Kyle, I just want to congratulate you on such a great finish with W.O.N bass and Lake Mohave. And what I'd love for you to do is just walk us through your practice, walk us through your day, and how you caught your fish. I see you're in a brand new 2024 Ranger R boat, powered by Berkley Pro XS 250. I'm sure that was very, very instrumental in you getting your spot. I'm told it's a very, very fast boat. And yeah, so talk us through everything and how you caught them.
Yeah, definitely had a very rough practice. I practiced for 4 days. First 3 days, I think I only had 6 or 7 fish. It was pretty tough. And then the last day of practice, I made a long run way up the lake and just got into a couple bays that had shad in them. And that was the key this week, was fishing around shad. You know, last year, the first 3 days of practice, I've pretty much focused on how I was assuming it was going to be one this year, which was way out on outside points, out in 30 to 50 feet of water. And the water we were a little further along in the fall this year. The water was cooler. Last year it was in the 80s. This year it was it was around 69, 70 in the area that I ended up fishing, and it was a little bit more into the fall transition. I've been bummed out that this tournament wasn't going to be at Lake Mead all year, and the way that I ended up catching most of my fish was the way that I fish at Lake Mead. I was fishing grassy. I had 3 grassy bays that the fish were just roaming around in 5 to 15 feet max, most of the fish that I caught. And there had to be bait present. All the spots that I fished had at least 1 to 2 legitimately big size of bait, you know, and it looks a little bit different on your Lowrance Active Target. Everywhere you go on that lake, you see the baby stripers. They're everywhere. It almost looks like shad on your graph, but they're just a little bit bigger. They're about 3 to 5 inches. The shad they're like a more solid ball on your screen. And the bays that had the actual shad in them, I could get the fish to bite better. I'm sure they eat those baby stripers everywhere, but it was a little harder to you know, emulate something that looked like a baby striper. I don't know, I could never get the fish that were in those other zones to bite. I could see them, but they wouldn't bite. But the ones that had the shad, they bit. There was just non-stop flow of fish swimming through these spots. I'd pull in, I'd make a pass, and I would see, every time I would make a pass through these spots, I'd see 3 to 10, you know, keepers. They'd be in little pods of 1 to like 4 fish. And if you ever, pretty much if I saw one that had 3 to 4 fish on it together, I got a bite on that pretty much every time I saw it. You just had to have a little bit of competition there. And then I did find one from 3 days of practice. I did find one outside deep spot that had a pretty good group of fish on it. At the start of the tournament, I think the first day I caught them in about 35 on this spot, and then by the last day they were out in 55 on it. I was sharing it with I was sharing that spot with Chris Saldane. I think between the two of us, we took a total of somewhere between 8 and 10 fish off of it that got weighed in at the scales. So by the last day, they had pushed way off on that thing, and I only caught 1 there the last day, two on that spot the first 2 days, and it was like, if you got a bite there, it was a for sure one over 3.5. Wow. That spot really carried me. As far as the bait goes, I kept it really simple. Like, I was at Lake Mead, I caught them. I caught, I think, 13 of the 15 fish that I weighed in just on a drop shot. I was rotating between same thing everybody's throwing, a max scent, flat nose minnow. I caught a couple on the flatworm as well. I really don't think the bait matters a whole lot. I'm not sponsored by Berkley. I mean, I was throwing it because I'm sure they bite it and they hold on to it longer, but it was pretty much, you'd throw it one and they bite it the second it hits the bottom, or before it hits the bottom, or they ain't biting it. They don't stare at your bait or anything. You can pretty much just throw at it, lift it up. He doesn't have it. You can wind it in and wait to throw at it again.
What color were you using?
It really, I caught him on green pumpkin, smoke purple, brown back, and then this one's, I think it's called bait fish. It would go by them pretty quick, and they grab it, and they're either grabbing it or they're not.
Yeah.
There's no staring at it, sniffing it. At least at this lake, it was just they're either gonna bite it immediately or they are not biting it. They're either in the mood to eat or they're not.
All right. So what about? I noticed that your rods are blue. Okay?
Yeah. So these are St. Croix Legend Tournament rods. I really like this rod. I have 4 of them. The 7.3, medium power, fast action. You know. It's funny, just like everybody says about everything, it's got a really soft tip and then it shuts off really quick. It's the same, everybody say the same thing about every rod. It's really light, but it's really balanced. I really like it. I like having the little bit of tip because as I'm coming through the grass, I did catch a few where I was not staring right at them, but you would, you could detect but you would pull and they'd pull back and they wouldn't feel you as quick as you could hit them. Plus I was using really light line. I'm using a 10-pound braid to 6-pound Seaguar Tatsu.
Whose braid are you using?
Sunline braid. It's called it's some new stuff they came out with. I think it's called Overwatch. It's half chartreuse and half greens. I could see it move, like when one would bite it, I could see it jump a little bit on the surface. I like that. And then I did weigh a few very key fish on a 4-inch hologram shad Robo worm this week. A couple of the spots that I was fishing had some fish sitting in some wood, and so I was electing not to throw if I throw the nose hook over there, I would snag it.
Okay.
So I didn't want to, and it would, if I snagged the spot, it would mess them up. So I would use this with the rebarb on the ones that were sitting in the trees.
What size rebarb is that?
1/0.
1/0.
1/0 rebarb.
And those rods look like they're exactly the same, are they?
Yeah, these are the same 2 rods.
Can you explain again what rods those are?
Those are 7.3 Legend Tournament St. Croix rods.
Okay.
Medium extra fast. It's got that, like I said, it's got the good tip on it, and then some backbone, so I could keep them up. The ones that I was catching shallow were giant battles. I would fight them for 5. It would take 5 minutes to get them in. Oh. The ones out deeper, they came in pretty quick. And when they're coming out of that deep water, their air bladder messes them up a little bit. They kind of just come right in. But those ones that are super shallow are just painful long battles.
Okay, so what kind of hook are you using on that deal?
This is a number 1 Gamakatsu split shot drop shot hook.
Okay.
It's got good gap on it between the eye tie and the hook point. It's just, I've been using that hook for a few years. It's standard deal. It hooks them good though. I really like that hook. Okay, and what about the weights? I see you got 2 different size weights on your. Yeah, I had one on this one was on a 3/8 ounce weight, and then this one's on a 1/4 ounce weight over here. So on the fish I was catching from 5 to 15 feet, I would have the 1/4 ounce weight in my hand, and then on the 20 to 45, 50 foot ones, I was throwing a 3/8 ounce weight. And then I have one more in the rod locker. I had one more on a 1/2 ounce weight for the ones when I was fishing out in 50 plus.
A 1/2 ounce?
Spot. Yeah, 1/2 ounce.
Wow.
And it still takes forever to get to 50 feet on a 1/2 ounce.
I see you got a green battery over here.
Yeah, so this is a new sponsor of mine for this year, Norsk Lithium. Made in the they're out of Minnesota. Just unbelievable battery. I was on my trolling motor from 80 to 100% the entire tournament every day. I was never stopping and fishing like little spots and grinding it out on rock piles or anything. It was go through bays very quickly and try to find the fish on my active target to throw at. And I had a couple 12-hour days. The last day I fished for 13 hours, and these things never went on. I think 78% was the lowest I ever saw them go, and just unbelievable batteries. Couldn't have done it without them. And then I have 4 of these in my boat. I have a 4th one just to run my active target. I think it's very important, on that Lowrance Active Target to isolate your transducer and the fish finder that you're using onto its own battery so that it's not touching anything else. It makes your picture way better, cleaner. There's no interference on the screen, and I could keep them. I could keep the fish far away from me. I was running my active target at 120 feet, and I could see those smallmouth suspended crystal clear at 80 to 115 feet, and I can make a really long cast at them. It seems like once they get within about 60 feet, they can, it's a clear water desert lake. They could see you. You'd see them start to follow the boat and stuff. And once they start to do that, they're not going to bite. But if I could keep them out there at 100 to 120 feet, it seems like they wouldn't notice you as quick, and you can make a cast right on top of them. And if you can be really sneaky like that, you would get a few of them to bite. That helped a lot. That was the biggest thing, was for sure, more than anything, was that Lowrance Active Target. You hear it non-stop from everybody. It's just, that's the way it is now.
Yeah.
You have to be proficient with that thing at most of the lakes out here.
Did you have
anywhere?
Did you have any neck pain or anything from it?
Yeah, I was taking Advil every day.
Yeah.
My neck's a little sore from staring down at that thing, but you have to do it. And I went with a 16 Pro this year because those new 16s are 1080p. It's the clearest screen Lowrance has ever had. It's the deal. You have to have it, and you have to have it rigged right to get the most out of it. And I would not be here and have this trophy unless it wasn't for Lowrance.
Wow. All right, so you won $74,000, pretty much a $90,000 boat, and you came to work this morning at Anglers Marine. So tell us about what you do here, and give us a little synopsis of you, your boat, your family, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I've been here my whole life. I've actually worked here for about the last 12 years, selling boats, sell Rangers, Nitros, Tritons, Sun Tracker, everything. It's a blast. I love it. I could not be here today, but no, we're back right at it. Gotta keep the wheels going. My Ranger boat, this is by far my favorite. I know people think you just say that. This is my favorite boat they've ever made. This is a 521R. It ran unbelievable, and we had some little sporty weather the first day and the third day, making a long kind of rough water ride, and zero issues getting there and back. Mercury 250 Pro XS 4-stroke. It's the best in the industry, and it's an unbelievable boat. I'm so happy with it. All the storage is deeper than they've ever been. The rough water ride is better than it's ever been. It's faster than any boat they've ever made. Just you look at the size of the deck on this thing. It's an unbelievable it's an unbelievable rig.
It's a beautiful ride. Yeah, absolutely. And you got it. The Grovers is a family. Your dad has been around. As long as I've been bass fishing, that's kind of how I got to know him.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you and your family and how this all started for you. All right, so when did Anglers Marine start?
My dad started Anglers Marine in 1981. I think he was a teenager, or maybe fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
Started as just a little tackle shop. Started selling Mercury engines, and then met my mom, Cindy, who her parents are the founders of Champion Boats. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. Started selling Champions, and then that deal went away and turned into a big Ranger dealership, and that's the way it still is. We sell Rangers every day, and Nitros and Tritons and pontoon boats, and aluminum boats. Sell it all.
Yeah, and you guys used to fish team tournaments back in the day, right? You won a lot of tournaments.
I won a lot of tournaments with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won three or four boats, fishing team championships at Lake Mead. Just taught me everything I know. Spent my whole life fishing with him. Would let me, and I got my driver's license when I was 16. I would go fish team. If he had to work on the weekend, I would go fish team tournaments wherever they are by myself.
Oh.
From the age of 16, still in high school, and always trusted me to run the boat. And Yeah, it's been a good life.
And your dad's, or your son Wyatt is how old?
He's 2. He turns 3 next month.
Okay, so we got a 3-year-old, and he's been catching bass, right?
He's fired up on it. Yeah, like my girls are fired up on it too, but he spends every day standing on my couch in my living room. He's got a couple, push button Zebcos and just flinging stuff all over the living room. I can't believe he hasn't broken a TV or anything.
I think your dad's already called it Bassmaster Classic winner of
2045.
2045. You've heard it here, folks. When you see this on YouTube and you see Wyatt winning the Bassmaster Classic in 2045, it just goes to show you the power of suggestion.
Yeah, he's fired up. He's going to be, I can't wait till he's old enough to fish team tournaments with.
And how many girls do you have?
I have 2 girls, Raquel and Elena. They're 7 and 6.
Okay, and your wife?
My wife, Lana, the best.
What is she, how does she feel about your big win?
She's pretty stoked. she's really happy.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She's a 911 dispatcher. She does a great job. And I love her. She's the best.
Yeah, and she looks like Blossom. That's my nickname for her. You guys Google that and you'll know exactly who she looks
she's
like.
Great. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, you have anything else? You have any other sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody that I've already thanked. I think the only ones I haven't mentioned is Sims. Sims is a great sponsor of mine. Top to bottom, everything during the tournament, hood, face mask, gloves, the pants. It helps a lot when you're fishing long hot days, not having the sun bake on you. Phoenix Jigs didn't get to catch me on the jig this week, but they really supported me, and that's about it.
All right, sounds like you kept it pretty simple.
Very, very, very simple. It truly fished just like Lake Mead this week.
Wow.
It's just a straight Colorado River fall tournament. It was exactly how it was.
Right on. Well, congratulations, Kyle Grover and your family. And you're a great champion, as you know. And I'm making a prediction that as long as I'm alive, I think you got 3 more in you.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
You got it.